You're listening to Living in Spain podcasts with David Wright.
Hi, and welcome to another one of my podcasts. Today, we're going to be talking to Nicky, and Nicky's moved out to Melilla, however you like to say it. I think the Spanish say Melilla. So, hi, Nicky, how are you?
Hi,
Can you hear me
David.
okay?
Yes, thank you. I'm fine, David. Thank you.
So, how do you say it, Nicky? How do I pronounce it correctly?
Well, I believe
Melilla?
it's pronounced Melilla.
Melilla.
So the
Okay,
two L's
fine.
are pronounced as a Y, so Melilla.
Right, so you're just to let people know, it is Spain, it's part of Spain, but it's actually on the north coast of Africa, pretty much in front of Malaga, and it borders Morocco. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, that's right. We're a Spanish autonomous city, as is Ceuta. There's two on the
Yeah,
north coast of Africa. Yeah, we're surrounded on all three sides by Morocco, and obviously then we've got the sea in front. So.
sure. So, Nikki, how long have you been out here? Or out there, should I say? How long have you been out there in Spain?
Well, we moved out here in 2017 in July. So I've been just nearly 4.5 years now here.
Right, and from where exactly did you live?
Well, I was born and brought up in Milton Keynes, but for the last few years before we moved here, I'd moved in with my partner, who's now my husband, and he lived in Abingdon on Thames. So we're from Abingdon on Thames. That's where we moved from.
And he's Spanish, is that correct?
Yeah, he's Spanish. He's from Barcelona, but he was on a Spanish education abroad post, and he got 9 years in the European school in Culham, in Oxfordshire. So we met in his first year that he was there. And we got married we came back as partners, but we did actually get married after a year of being here. We got married.
So, was it a Spanish wedding or English wedding or mixture?
It was a wedding in Gibraltar. We wanted to get married in Spain. We wanted to get married in Barcelona. It was quite difficult, really, because I think you need to be resident 2 years. He was okay after a year of being resident because he'd been out the country for 10 years. So even he had rules as well. So he had to be back living here for a year, and then we could apply, but it was just going to take so long to apply and go through all the rigmarole and everything, and I'd need translators, so I would have needed translators and things to all do it. So we just gave up in the end, and we went to Gibraltar. It was much easier.
Sure. So, come on, Nikki, how's your Spanish?
My Spanish is awful. Absolutely.
How can that be, being married to a Spanish person?
We've been together 14 years, and I go and see his family all the time, and I have done for 14 years. So even when we was living in England, we were in Spain a lot, and it's just awful. I'm 54. I was absolutely awful at languages at school. I did French for 2 years, and they almost threw me out at 14 and said she was useless. So I'm not very good. I mean, I can understand quite a lot now, but the speaking it, I just lack confidence. And if I do it wrong and they don't understand, then that's it. I don't want to do it anymore. So that isn't the way. And in Melilla, it's very difficult. They don't get very many English speakers here, so the accent is a problem for them. So even if I do speak a bit of Spanish, they don't seem to understand me.
So, how do you occupy your day? What do you get up to? Do you work, or you got any part-time work? Or
No, well, I was a nurse in the UK. So when we moved here, and because I couldn't speak Spanish, I wouldn't even dream of being a nurse in another language. It would just be impossible. So I don't work. My husband works still. He's a teacher here. So when he's at work, I do all the cleaning, all the shopping, all the housework, that sort of thing. Go forwards. It's a very simple life in Melilla. It's only a small city. It's only 4.7 square miles. So you can walk around it and do lots of walking and exercise. We go to basketball. Melilla in the Leboro second division. So we go to the basketball. We travel a lot as well to the mainland. People from Melilla get the plane to the mainland like we would get the bus, in the UK.
So the boat from where you are to Malaga, just tell us a little bit about that, planes and boats, how to get
Yeah,
over there.
we can only, the border's been closed since COVID. It shut in March 2020 because of the COVID crisis. But before that, when the border was open, you can only go into Morocco. We could go across the border, people from Melilla can just go in with their identity card and cross the border. I needed my passport. We used to go to Morocco quite a lot, but the border's been, but we could only go over on the land. You can't get boats from Melilla into Morocco, and we have got an airport with a plane, but you can't fly into Morocco. So even when the border was open, if you want, you can only cross the border over land, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got the plane, and it only goes to Spain. And it goes to several places in Spain. When we first arrived, it only really went to Malaga and Madrid. But now they've got plane trips to Seville, Malaga, Madrid, Granada, Barcelona, and Gran Canaria in the summer. And I think that's everything actually. And Almeria, you can fly to Almeria there. And
Well,
the boat goes
sorry,
to
as you know, we've got an airport right here where I'm living, and we see the planes coming in from that direction. And also we have a boat in Almeria, a ferry, but I think the ferry's not running at the moment, but it's about 8 hours from here. And a few years ago, before the virus kicked in, some of our Spanish friends used to do like a weekend trip over there and were telling us about it. And we were planning on doing it. But then obviously with the restrictions cut in, we've put that off. But definitely going to come and check it out one day.
I would encourage everybody to come. It's a unique place. It really is. And it's well worth coming. I mean, it's a different thing about living here. It's a little bit isolated, quite small place to live here permanently. But for a trip, I would recommend anybody to come. And you can come from all those airports. Like from Seville, it takes 40 minutes on the plane. Malaga, probably 20 minutes. Almeria, 20 minutes. The boat's a little bit longer. You can get the boat from Melilla to Almeria or Malaga, as you said. And you can either get the slower boat that takes about 7 hours. A lot of people get that overnight and sleep on it. Or you can get the speedboat with Valeria, I believe it is, and it's we went on it in the summer, and it was about 4.5 hours, 5 hours on the boat. Yeah. But the plane's the quickest route. It's only a small plane. It's only an 80-seater propeller plane. So that's quite an experience as well. But it is a lovely trip. And the last time we were on the boat, we came from Almeria, and we could see the dolphins in the sea. It's a really nice trip if you get the chance to do it and come.
Yeah, we get a lot of dolphins here actually off the coast here, and there's a main road that runs along the coast here to the airport. And quite often I've seen jump out. The first time I shouted out to my wife, "Look, there's dolphins." She thought I was crazy. She's Spanish. She's lived there all her life. She's never seen them, but there was dolphins jumping out. And
we saw it when I was screaming, "Quick, get the camera!" By the time you've got the camera and set it up, they've gone, haven't they?
But earlier you said to me it's a bit cold today, and so you think, what is the temperature there at the moment? It is a bit colder. The temperatures have dropped.
It's 13 today, which is quite unusual.
I want to be in the UK at the moment then, because where my brother lives in Brighton, they're saying it's 8 degrees, and they're talking about it dropping to 2 or 4 degrees by the weekend. So yeah, 14 is not too bad.
No, we're all Spanish now, aren't we? We think that's cold. 13. 13 is quite cold for Melilla, actually. I mean, we don't normally get it any lower than about 9 overnight, and that's in the deep winter. So it's quite nice, the temperatures here.
So Nicky, what made you move out to Spain in the first place? Was it something you were thinking about for a while, or was it a spur of the moment thing?
No, because I met my partner. I was just happily going along in England working as a nurse, and my partner, he moved over with his job. He got a secondment at the European School, and he was looking for friends, people. He'd arrived in England from Barcelona, didn't know anyone. And he says he didn't join a dating site. He said he joined a site looking for friends, but he was on Match.com. and I was divorced, and I was on Match, and we met. And he said he couldn't speak much English, but his English was quite good then. And then we met, and obviously we carried on. And he said to me, in 9 years' time, I've I've chosen to go to Melilla, because they do a set amount of time on their secondment posts and then they come back to Spain. And he said, I've chosen to go back to Melilla. Well, I've never heard of Melilla. And the whole time he kept saying, during the time we were together, he kept saying, well, I'm going to Melilla. And I'd never been. I didn't know anything about it. I just decided I wasn't going to live there. I wasn't living in North Africa. But anyway, the time ticked on and it was time to come. And we came over in the May of 2017 to have a look round. And I was quite upset, really, because I thought, oh my God, it was such a culture shock. That's why it's important that people come and visit Melilla, because it's like Spain almost 40, 50 years ago. It's the old Spain. I think you'd like it, David, from what I can tell.
I've seen lots of pictures and stuff that their friends have taken and that. But we've got a lot of Moroccan influence in Almeria as well. So, there's a lot of bars and restaurants down by the port area, and some of the fruit and veg comes over from on the boat. We have the local markets here, and there's actually some guys that come over regularly to do the market at the airport here. So they bring over, they're from Morocco, and I've seen them sometimes down at the port, having a coffee and a drink in their Moroccan type bars. And we did go to a bar, or I don't know if you call it a coffee house, whatever, and had the Moroccan tea and the ceremony.
Yeah, the mint tea. That's if you come to Melilla and you ask for a tea in any of the coffee shops, you'll get a mint tea. That's what you get. And it was funny because we came back. So his job ended in England, and he said he'd only stay in England if he got a university post, and he tried, but it's very difficult to get university posts. So we came, we moved here, and it was funny because in the early days we'd go to the coffee shops and we'd say a tea, and we'd get this mint tea. And we kept going, no, we want a normal tea. And they go, yes, this is a normal tea. It was a mint tea. So be careful if you come to Melilla and ask for a tea, because you need to ask for a tea negro if you want a normal tea. If you ask for just a tea, you'll get this Moroccan mint tea.
I think the tea with the British people, and I know like myself, I buy Tetley tea bags, which I buy online because it's cheaper that way. I buy them in a bag of 75 at a time, sort of thing. But my wife makes tea, and she's often bought what she calls English tea, but it's absolutely nothing like English tea at all. Even though it says English tea on the packet, it's not, And I think the milk doesn't help as well. It's a different type of milk, but proper cup of tea is quite hard to get here in Spain.
No, it's just a mint tea here, and it's got all the leaves in it, and you get a mint, all the mint leaves filled up with hot water, and then they give you a little glass to decant it into. But it's really, really sweet. My husband always asks for it with no sugar, but you ask for it with no sugar, and it still seems to be really, really sweet. But people love it. They love the tea here. I don't particularly like the mint tea, but
we were served with a little piece of cake as well. I don't know whether that is normal. It comes with the tea, a little piece of cake.
We get the free tapas. You talk about the free tapas in Almeria. We still get the free tapas in Melilla as well. It's actually really reasonable to live here, because we are not in the customs union in Melilla, and we don't pay VAT either. So and our tax rate's between about 10-12% here. So things are really cheap here.
Do you pay for example, if you went out for a beer or a wine, a glass of wine, what sort of prices are you looking at?
Well, we don't drink that much. My husband doesn't drink much, and neither do I. So, but if we go out, we can go out for breakfast. Like we went this morning, I met my husband in his gap at work, because it's very popular. I don't know if they do this in Almeria, but in Melilla, everybody goes for breakfast between 10 a.m. and 11.
Yeah. Right.
Everything. If you have a builder in, or an electrician, or the shops, everybody seems to go for breakfast between 10 and 11. And because it's cheap, they all go to the coffee shops, and they have the mint tea, they have churros, they have the bread with the tomato and the oil.
Yeah.
So I met my husband. Yeah, it's really nice actually. And I met my husband this morning, and we went for tea, and he had coffee, I had a soft drink, and he had some churros, and it came to €2.50.
€2.50. Yeah, that's cheap, isn't it? That's cheap.
It's very cheap, and we can get churros for $2. Well, the big porous, and chocolate, and a litre bottle of water for €5 here if we go out for churros, and the churros are really good.
So you've been a member on the group for a while now, I see, and I've seen you post of where you are, and it looks fantastic and everything. But Nicky, for other people that are thinking about moving to Spain, what sort of advice would you give them from the UK and they're thinking about moving to Spain? What sort of tips and advice would you give somebody? Don't miss what Nicky's got to say in part 2 of this interview, straight after this one, or just click below.
If you have enjoyed this podcast by David Wright, then you will love his new books. Out now on Amazon and Kindle, packed with money-saving tips and information on living and working in Spain. Just go to livinginspainbooks.com. David also has a popular blog for expats in Spain. Come and take a look now at britishexpatsinspain.com.